All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for your patience tonight. We're running just a bit behind. Got a couple things going on. Before we begin this meeting, I would like to remind everyone to silence their cell phones. Council meetings are live streamed on the city's YouTube channel. I now call the March 18th, 2025 regular council meeting to order. Please note that Councilor Bond is attending the meeting via video. All councilors are present. Would you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So a little bit out of the norm, we do have a personnel matter to discuss. It'll take about 5 minutes. So we will move into an executive session. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn into the executive session.
So moved. Second.
Moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilor Pollock. There are a majority of councilors present and a motion to adjourn into an executive session has been moved and seconded. This motion requires a 2/3 majority of the council present. Please cast your vote. Councilor Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Sweeney? There we go. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
A greater than 2/3 majority of the council present voted in favor of the motion, and we are hereby adjourned into an executive session. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Thank you again for your patience. Let's go ahead and move on to the consent minute approval, please. Please read the consent minute approval titles.
Approving the minutes of the March 4th, 2025 regular council meeting and the March 4th, 2025 executive session.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent minute action agenda items just read. Second. Moved by Councillor Jensen, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Any abstentions? Anybody else? Please cast your vote. Councillor Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With Councillor Haskins abstaining and all others voting aye, the motion passes.
Chair would entertain a motion to approve by minute action the March 18th, 2025 general bills and claims as audited by City Manager Napier.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Pollock, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Any abstentions? Please cast your vote. Councillor Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With all councillors voting aye, the motion passes.
Chair would entertain a motion to approve by minute action the March 18, 2025 conflict claims as audited by City Manager Napier.
Second.
Moved by Councillor Haskins, sorry about that. Seconded by Councillor Pollock. Any abstentions? I would like to abstain as well. Please cast your vote. Councillor Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. Please record the vote.
With Mayor Pacheco and Councillor Jensen abstaining and all others voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you, everyone. Now we turn our attention to the bright spots. And we're going to talk today Ski Patrol Life-Saving Event. At this time, I would invite the members of the Casper Mountain Ski Patrol, as well as Mr. Anderson, to come forward to be recognized. If you would come forward, please. Oh, I see some eyes rolling. They got to come up. You didn't think this was going to happen. Thank you so much. Before I go into that, would anybody like to introduce everybody? Bill. Thank you so much. Today, we would like to honor the extraordinary efforts of the Casper Mountain Ski Patrol, a dedicated team of volunteers who have once again demonstrated their unwavering commitment to safety and well-being. As members of the National Ski Patrol, their exemplary service is a testament to the values of courage, skill, and community spirit that define our town. Recently, our ski patrol faced a critical situation that highlighted the patrol's exceptional training and readiness. On December 28th, 2024, a skier at Hogadon, Mr. Colin Anderson, was found unresponsive at the bottom of the Boomerang by members of the Casper Mountain Racers. He had a heart attack. CMR immediately radioed to the Casper Ski Patrol for assistance. Patrollers Thomas Branson, Jason Spence, Kent Dewing, Robert Walker, and Ski Patrol candidate Jen Burke all responded to the scene after the radio call came in. The first patrollers on scene found Colin receiving CPR from the CMR bystanders and immediately took over, calling for advanced life support, an AED. The Lucas machine and transport. The AED was prepared and administered while the transport unit was readied. Despite the initial shock from the AED showing no charge, the relentless CPR and AED efforts continued. After a second shock, they successfully restored Colin's pulse. The patient was then transported to the patrol headquarters and loaded into a waiting ambulance. After being stabilized in the ambulance, he was taken to Banner Health via Life Flight helicopter. Thanks to the timely coordinated efforts of CMR and our skilled ski patrol, Colin was able to receive life-saving medical care. He was released from the hospital a little over a week later. after successful bypass surgery and has recently returned to Hogadon to enjoy what remains of the ski season. This incident is a powerful, I'm going to say that one more time, a powerful reminder of the critical role our ski patrol plays, not in just these emergencies, but throughout each season. This ensures that the Hogadon Basin ski operates at the highest level of safety and enjoyment for all. Without their contributions, our skiing community would not thrive as it has for decades. Becoming a volunteer ski patroller requires significant training and certifications. These dedicated individuals undergo rigorous preparation to handle a wide range of medical and rescue scenarios. Their expertise and readiness are invaluable assets to our community, both on and off the ski slopes. As many patrollers utilize their training to volunteer as medical support for outdoor summer events as well. Today, this council and the city of Casper would like to extend our deepest gratitude to the Casper Mountain Ski Patrol. Your bravery, the skill and dedication are deeply, deeply appreciated by this community and this council. You are unsung heroes, and I hope you see yourselves as such. You are the unsung heroes of these slopes and this community, and we are profoundly grateful for your service. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Oh, yes, sorry. I should say, please say a few words, sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you again, and thank you for your services that you guys do. I don't want to belabor more from what my statement was, but just want to let you know that you are deeply appreciated, and I know you guys work very hard for our community and for Hogadon. So thank you and God bless. At this time, I'd like to welcome members of the Celtic Irish Festival to the meeting tonight. If you would please come forward, introduce yourselves, and maybe discuss a little bit about the festival, and I will present the proclamation.
Amber Christensen, I'm the chairman of the Casper Celtic Irish Festival. Since I was here last, we now have our full talent for both our music and our culture stages booked. We have 10 sponsors, and we are now working on vendors, artisan vendors, as well as all the contracting for the support around the event.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And Celtic. I'm a Boston Celtics fan, so I always say Celtics.
To your credit, it's Celtic when it's sports. It's Celtic.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Appreciate that. I was embarrassed. Celtic. Very lovely. Okay, good deal. Well, I'm going to have you come on up here and I'm going to read the proclamation. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the festival coming in. I encourage everybody to join that. So thank you. And now I'd like to welcome representatives from Serve Wyoming to the meeting tonight. If you would come on up here to introduce yourselves and discuss a little bit about the National Service Recognition Day before I present the proclamation. Good evening.
Hi, thank you, Mayor, council members. With me today, I'm Shelley McAlpin, Serve Wyoming. You guys want to introduce yourself?
I'm Michelle Reynolds. I'm the executive assistant to Shelley at Serve Wyoming.
I'm Ruby McAlpin.
Future AmeriCorps member, right there. Thank you yet again this year for recognizing the work that Wyoming AmeriCorps does throughout our state. We're close to 6,000 AmeriCorps members that have served our state in some capacity. I know you guys hear this every year, but AmeriCorps members dedicate up to a year of their life serving our state. And in response to that, they receive a scholarship at the end of their service term. It's roughly $8,000. Serve Wyoming has given out 8.7 million scholarships that have been used in the state of Wyoming, either at a university, community college, technical school, or certificate program. So we're pretty proud of what they do. And they work in a variety of capacities, which you're probably going to talk about in the proclamation. But here in Casper, you can go to the Science Zone, Brain Injury Alliance, Iris House. There's multiple people serving in that capacity in Natrona County as we speak. There's also roughly 200 AmeriCorps seniors that are serving above and beyond traditional AmeriCorps members' service term, and they're in just a bunch of different capacities, especially here in central Wyoming. So if you have seen people working at Meals on Wheels, multiple places that the Senior Center supports, some people who unfortunately are shut in, receiving other services, they're likely an AmeriCorps senior member as well. So thank you for the opportunity to recognize these people in our state.
Wonderful. I'm gonna have you guys come up here and I'll read the proclamation. Whereas national and economic opportunities creating more sustainable education, through skills,
Wyoming and AmeriCorps, 5,000 Wyoming and AmeriCorps members, 3.7 million hours, taken a qualified for more than $1,000. Whereas the Wyoming and AmeriCorps share priorities, local leaders, by to be lives, community, National League of Cities, National Association of Counties, Cities of Service, and local leaders across the country. National Service. Oh, 5. Now therefore I raise check on the Arizona City Council, March 12th, as national. I encourage residents to recognize the positive impact of national service. Find ways to do that. This were by a curiosity of the business. I don't need to do it.
I've had the honor to work with Shelley and serve Wyoming on multiple things, speak at their events, and the commitment to the community, the commitment to service, I believe is the hallmark of a community. And so I appreciate the work that they do, the volunteers that participate, and be a part of that, and the leadership that you've had for how many years now? 19 years as the director. So you've done an outstanding job. So thank you all. Thank you to your staff too. Now is the time that we invite anyone in the audience who wishes to speak with the council to come forward. This portion of the meeting is dedicated to the public to allow them time to discuss matters of public interest and to voice their concerns. Please state your name, direct all questions or comments to the mayor. No personal obscenities or threats will be tolerated. Council will not respond to any personnel matters, and these will be all referred to our city manager. Councilors may ask clarifying questions, but if they choose to respond to matters, they will be during the scheduled council response time following the communications from persons present. Presentations are limited to 5 minutes, and there are no time extensions will be permitted. Please note that public hearings and ordinances have their own separate comment periods. Mr. Schriftman.
Mayor, good evening. There are significant differences between a personal budget and the budget of an entire city's government. However, there are some lessons that should be considered when comparing the two. My business revenue has decreased by more than 50% over the last 4 years. I had anticipated much of this and planned for it. Last year, my net business income was only $9,000. So I have to prioritize. The tool I use to assist me is common sense to discern what I have to do and what I would like to do, what I must do and what I can do without. I have a small house in a nice neighborhood with a garage for the car included, which was a key element of my buying decision in order to make sure that my vehicle lasts. I drive a 2008 Ford Focus with 230,000 miles on it. I rarely travel outside of Casper and keep up with the needed vehicle maintenance. I must pay my mortgage, all the different taxes, insurance, and utilities. As an insurance agent, I have to pay for my required licenses and continuing education courses, as well as my office expenses, telephone, internet service, postage, and marketing materials. Outside of my business, I buy basic health food and rarely do I eat out. I cut out cable TV and Sirius radio in my car, and instead I listen to AM news and FM country western music when I'm driving. I respect the value of my utilities by conserving energy. I turn down the heat when I leave my house, keep one light on in the room I am in at the night, and conserve water even in the hottest, driest season by only spraying my front lawn once a week in the evenings. I don't have air conditioning. It is not essential. I had not bought clothes in the last 2 years. I took no vacation last year, and spent no money on entertainment during 2024. I've cut back on my charitable giving, which was something I do not want to do. When I do make contributions, they are relatively small. Instead, I volunteer my time when I can. I am blessed with good health, take no medications, but still make sure I receive routine foot, eye, and dental care to maintain my health. For exercise, I have a good pair of running shoes. At age 72, I still can run long distances, which I very much enjoy. My dog died in 2023 at the age of 18. I do not plan to get another dog due to the cost, even though it would be nice to have another companion. I live alone, but I am not lonely. I have wonderful friends and participate in many community activities. I enjoy meeting new people and obviously like to be an involved citizen with and appreciate public debate on important issues. Despite all these spending cuts, I am living a joyous life in this beautiful community. Personally, my only request of local government is to maintain a safe city with essential, efficient, and effective infrastructure. In conclusion, please mark your calendar for a town hall meeting on the city's budget hosted by the Casper Citizens Department of Government Efficiency. This event will take place on Thursday evening, April 24th, starting at 6:30 at the Agriculture Resource and Learning Center. Council members will be receiving a formal invitation shortly. I look forward to your participation. Any questions? April 24th.
April
It's a
24th.
Thursday evening.
And you'll send an invite.
Yes, I will. And there's two purposes. One is to educate the public a little bit more about the budget and also a listening session.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, you bet.
Is your intention that you'll be providing that budget education, or is somebody else preparing a presentation?
We would be interested, Mayor, council member, we would be interested in receiving any information that's helpful for this presentation. I'm going through maybe a PowerPoint or some other presentation materials. And in fact, you just added the pre-meeting. If that document that you went over on the priorities, if that's available, that would be helpful as well. And I know it sounds like it has a lot of information.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to clarify, who will be presenting though?
Well, Mayor, council member, I'll be hosting the meeting, but any member of council can speak. If you want to be part of the presentation, I would very much appreciate it.
Okay. Any other clarifying questions? Go ahead.
So thank you, Mayor. I guess my question would be a little further context as to Councilor Pollack's question. So if you're the host, who's the presenter? And because I've showed up to some meetings, not yours, but in the past, and got booed out of the room. And so I don't want to waste my time if certain people are actually being presented, like one might be from Bar None, one might live here in Casper.
Mayor, council member, it's specifically for Casper residents. It will be advertised that way, and I would very much appreciate if you would want to present, and anybody from council or staff. We very much welcome that. And I've mentioned this idea of a town hall meeting. My concern is the only public hearing is just before the final budget. And there's a lot of work to be involved in it, obviously. The more participation we have, the better off. And everybody in the community, regardless of their views, will be invited. And anybody on council is invited to speak.
Anybody else clarifying questions? Okay. Thanks,
Okay,
Mr.
thank
Schriftman.
you.
We appreciate it.
Sure.
Anybody else? was going to recognize you, Mr. Omar. It's good to see you, buddy.
Nice to see you. Mr. Mayor, I'm here to stand before you today to address a critical issue affecting this community's safety and well-being. The intersection of East 12th Street and Southeast Wyoming Boulevard has been becoming a growing concern for pedestrian safety, and particularly for the students walking to and becoming a growing has become a growing concern for the pedestrian safety, particularly for our students walking to and from K-Dub High School and Centennial Junior High School. Every day, our children navigate the busy intersection, focusing a danger mixture of high volume vehicles in traffic and frequent foot traffic. This issue demands immediate attention and actions. We can't ignore the risks students facing simply trying to get to from school. Approximately 75 pedestrians involved crashes occur each year in Wyoming. 60% of these crashes happen during daylight hours, concerning with school travel time. Here in Casper, we recognize that there's the need for more sidewalks and side paths and bicycle facility that offer more physical spread space for walking and biking. The lack of safety cross options at the intersection puts our more vulnerable road users at high risk. We have an opportunity, and I will argue and attempt to change this. Recently, our city have been fortunate to receive some grants, I've been heard, and for infrastructure improvements. I urge to allocate some of those funds to enhance pedestrian and safety at the central crossing point by prioritizing safety improvements at the East 12th Street and Southeast Wyoming Boulevard intersection that can protect our students and community members from potential accidents. Creating a more walkable, accessible Casper for all residents demonstrate our community to the safety and well-being of our citizens. Imagine as Casper, where parents don't have to worry about their children's safety on their way to school, at Casper, where pedestrians and vehicles can coexist on a safe road, our roads. This is not just a dream, it's a achievable goal that started with addressing high-risk areas like this intersection. In conclusion, I call upon the council to take immediate action, like let us to resource at our disposal to impose safety measures at the 12 East and Southwest Boulevard intersection, our community safety in hand. Thanks for your time. Yeah.
Thanks. So what we'll do is if anybody has any clarifying questions, Omar, and then some council members might want to address and say something to you or maybe to our city manager on that, okay?
Yes.
So hold on 1 second. Does anybody have any clarifying questions for Omar? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Omar, for joining us this evening and for having the courage to come up and speak. I apologize if I missed this in your presentation, but was there a specific ask? Was it just kind of general consideration of improved safety measures at that intersection?
No, especially there in that intersection I'm talking about, there's been my friends have been almost getting hit of people you're trying to cross that intersection. If you've been on there east side of Casper, that's like a high volume traffic area. You're going to be dealing with state and local governments here, and it's like a hard thing to know where to do this properly because you don't have room to do anything really right there. So I'm kind of looking at how can we make this more safer for my friends and students who walk from school and from middle school across to get that big intersection, because that intersection is so busy that you can't imagine how scary it is crossing that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for coming. So in particular, 12th and Outer
Drive, yeah.
So you're right. I think the state controls Wyoming Boulevard. But so I've seen some recent different things that Cheyenne has done with this hawk system, whatever that is, where some kids have actually got hit and killed. So I don't take it that those are state highways down there, but I would be interested if we could at least reach out to YDOT and try to see if there's any enhancements up there. The Hawk system, as I saw it, is kind of a crosswalk indicator with more lighting up above, which on Wyoming Boulevard would be very costly because of the width. I think there's 5 lanes at that point. But
I agree with you. I talked to one of the YDOT representatives, the special relationship, Jeff over there at YDOT. We talked about 10 minutes, and it's a tricky thing. He was looking into ordinance and see what they can do to make it more visible. That's the only concern. I think we need to make it more visible, more lighting. I looked at some new projects. You know, some newer cities have these light up projects like strip light up to across the roads and make that more visible. Maybe put more signage because there's a kind of lack of signage. I don't know. It's just because you have signage saying school zone, you have that, but you don't have too many pedestrian or something. I feel like we should have more warning about that intersection there. Even if you're pulling into Wyoming Boulevard Outer Drive from the east side, you barely can see it because of the housing and the fencing and the trees there. You have to pull all the way up just to make a right hand turn or left hand turn to get into that. And if you pull out too far, you have to gun it without trying to, and you might be see someone crossing or something like that across the road.
We'll do, so let's go ahead and get more clarifying questions. Just stick around.
Okay. 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 Yep, thank you so much.
Anybody else? All right, so would any councilors respond to the matters?
Thank you very much. I'll start with the last one first. Carter, I know that I've been working with MPO and Liz on a Safe Routes to School study. Would you be up for checking in with Liz to ensure that that particular route to both of those schools is included in that study, and also get an update about the time frame that study is sort of stretching over? I can't totally remember, but I would want to make sure that that area is included in that analysis, because that's exactly what that's looking for, is what are the most regular paths that students might be walking from residential areas into schools, and what obstacles do they face, and what safety measures might be implemented. So it would be relevant to that conversation. So if you could follow up with her on those items, that would be helpful. And then first one last, I love talking about the budget, so I would welcome an opportunity to do that. I do have some concern that the discussion be in good faith, and I've been on the record about some misinformation that I think, Mr. Striffman, you have been responsible for circulating. So I have a bit of hesitation agreeing to participate in a town hall when I'm unsure of, what information is being presented, and is it accurate or is it not accurate, and can that be something that I can, put my name to or be a speaker at. And so I think I would want some assurances that the discussion is a good faith budget discussion, and that the information that is being presented accurately to the attendees, and represented accurately to the attendees. So I would encourage other counselors to hold the same standard for any budget discussion you might be participating in, town hall you might be participating in, etc. So.
Anybody else? Yeah. Councilor Haskins.
Omar, thank you for coming. I actually used to live right in that intersection, Big Flower Garden, that was me. And I agree, when school is coming, especially in certain times of the winter, sun hits just right, it's terrifying. And it actually reminds me, Carter, we had started a conversation once upon a time about shoveling sidewalks and whether or not that was an actual ordinance that we had. And a lot of kids are walking onto the street on 12th right there because there's a couple houses there that don't shovel. So if we could put that on a work session, pretty please. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to steal your thunder. I'll take it. I mean, especially even if we just made it something school zone related, but it is legitimate. There are children walking on 12th Street on that busy intersection because people aren't shoveling their sidewalks. So I'll wear it. And maybe we can look into whether or not some lighting, it is YDOT, so I know we're limited, but I like the idea of seeing what MPO's plan were, but anything we could do there because yeah, it is busy. And in the fall months in the morning, you can't see kids. It's terrifying.
So
My
Carter,
kids
could
don't
we,
walk there, but
could we loop that all into one big package? I know that's a lot. So talking about that walking area, kind of what Councilor Pollack brought up, the snow, all those things. Could we kind of bring that into a conversation? Is that a lot? Would you want to break that down? I'm throwing too much.
Your Honor, my guess is that the conversation about shoveling sidewalks and so forth coming forward here in the next few weeks would be a really good opportunity to debrief with regard to snow battling issues, not the least of which is, compliance with snow on sidewalks, because that is a continuing, unending problem, no doubt. I would also say, and perhaps add, that the discussion with regard to whether or not safe routes to schools studies would include this particular intersection or route is a part of the study. Is a fairly easy answer to provide. And I would guess I could get that to you in an informational memo relatively easily if that is satisfactory to the council.
Yeah, I think so. That'd be perfect.
All right.
Great. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep. Councilor Sweeney.
Thank you, Mayor. I think that's great on the school crossing. I don't know. 12th right there at that intersection is very, very tight. Especially if somebody were to park on the street, which I don't even think there's space up there without being on the sidewalk. But then I would echo the same concerns Councilor Pollack has on the budget presentation. I do not know it intimately as others that have been on council, but I don't, with all due respect, I don't want to walk into a situation where I've been in the past with some of the folks that are communicating this, not necessarily Mr. Schriftman, but folks that he that I've seen him in and about that won't even have a civil conversation. And so I too have my concerns. I guess it's easy enough to leave, but then they end up just crucifying me. In the past, I've left a meeting earlier because I thought my time here is done, and then they pulled me apart after I left. So, because I was chicken to stick around. Anyway, so if it's going to turn into that, I don't have any use in. There'd have to be some assurances that he could control his folks. And it is open speech, free speech, but I'm not going to walk into, if certain people have, I'll leave it at there.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, so Omar came and saw me last week. He wanted to meet with the mayor, and so we had a wonderful conversation. His interest in being into government and politics, and he had mentioned this to me, and I said, well, come to the council to address us. We have a lot of people that come in the public to do that. You're a senior this year, right, or junior? He is a junior at Kelly Walsh High School, and so he came in and has, anytime youth are involved, it's something that I always encourage them to participate in this process. And so what's going to happen now, Omar, is we're going to have some discussions around it, as does happen in government, where talks start to happen, and so it's part of that process. But you and I can stay in touch as we continue to move down this road and have some work sessions on this. But it sounds like your bringing this up has stirred some individuals to have on the council. Yeah. Yeah. And maybe what we can do, Omar, is set up at a specific meeting. I'd be more than happy to look at that. That'd be great. Yeah, Councillor Gamrot.
Thank you, Mayor. I was gonna save this for round the table in the off chance that Councillor Pollock didn't mention it, but Omar, if you weren't aware, it sounds like you discussed, well, it sounds like you connected with YDOT, but if you weren't aware, the MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization, they do have a couple public forums coming up. So it's regarding their Navigating 2055 30-year plan. And the first one is this Wednesday, tomorrow, from 5 to 7 at Bullhorn Brewing. I believe they let you in if you're a junior. I don't think you got to be 21. It's all ages, perfect. So tomorrow, if you're interested, 5 to 7 at Bullhorn Brewing, MPO will have a public forum. And then if you can't make that one, they're going to have another one the next day, Thursday, the 20th, from 11:30 to 1 at Signet Brewing. You might be in school, maybe you can sneak out for lunch or something, but 2 public forums this week. If you're interested, would encourage you and anyone else interested to go.
Thanks, Omar. Appreciate it. Okay, anybody else? All right, let's go ahead and move on. So on the agenda is a public hearing for the consideration of an ordinance regarding a zone change of Lot 6E half block 154 in the Casper Addition subdivision. However, staff is requesting that the hearing be canceled on the date reestablished. The chair would entertain a motion to, by minute action, cancel the public hearing and reestablish April 15th, 2025 as the public hearing date.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Pollock, seconded by Councillor Haskins. Any abstentions? Please cast your vote. Councillor Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Please record the vote. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Oh, so hold on. No, wait a minute. I thought I hit yes. I don't want to hear about this. Go ahead, sorry.
With all councillors voting aye, the motion passes.
I thought I hit the yes button. I'm sorry. Yeah. Council will now consider consent resolutions. Please read the consent resolutions by title only. Oh, did I flip one? I'm sorry. Oh, there it is. Yep, my bad. Please read the ordinance on third reading by title only.
Approving a vacation and final plat to create the City of Casper Lot 5A Block 226 subdivision in the City of Casper, Wyoming.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve and adopt on the third reading the ordinance just read. Moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councillor Jensen. Council will now listen to public comment. Anybody wish to speak to this? Any discussion from the council? Okay, please cast your vote. Councillor Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With all councillors voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you. And now, here we go. Please read the consent resolutions by title only.
10A1, authorizing a general service agreement with Rocky Mountain Power as part of the D Street Improvements Project. 10A2, authorizing a contract for professional services with Great Western Recreation LLC for the Sage Park Equipment Project. 10A3, authorizing a contract for professional services with GSG Architecture Incorporated for engineering, architectural design, bidding, and construction administration services for the Marion Kreiner Pool and Park Improvements Project. 10A4, authorizing a procurement of goods agreement with Alpha Laval Incorporated for a sludge spiral heat exchanger for use at the Sam H. Hobbs wastewater treatment plant. 10A5, authorizing the filing of an application for a grant under 49 U.S.C. Chapter 53, Title 23 U.S.C. Sections 5310 and 5339, as amended by the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, Public Law Number 117-58, November 15th, 2021, and other authorizing legislation to be enacted. And 10A6, authorizing the filing of an application for a grant under 49 U.S.C. Chapter 53, Title 23, U.S.C. Sections 5311, as amended by the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, Public Law Number 117-58, November 15th, 2021, and other authorizing legislation to be enacted.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda items just read.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Pollock, seconded by Councillor Haskins. Mr. City Manager, would you like to comment on any of these items?
No, thank you.
All right, any abstentions? Please cast your vote. Councillor Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Please read the consent minute action titles.
11A1, authorizing the purchase of residential trash containers in a total amount not to exceed $99,961.40 for use in the Casper Solid Waste Division. And 11A2, authorizing the appointment of Susan Burke and Kathy O'Quinn and the reappointment of Martin Axland to the Civil Service Commission for 3-year terms.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent minute action items just read. Moved by Councillor Sweeney, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Any abstentions? Okay, please cast your vote. Councillor Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, we ask councilors to bring forward any relevant concerns or items of interest. And why don't we start with Councillor Haskins? You're not ready? You want me to start over here by Councillor Jensen? Sorry, you drew the short straw. Councillor Jensen.
No, I had a presentation, ended the morning and going on here. CNFR, they secured we're going to be coming here to show off our town. So I'm excited about that. But there were a variety of different things. That's a good one. And so it's always a great opportunity to influence. They also secured Casper for the 26th to did that and college. Sorry, Casper's. It launched a new website. Very cool stuff happening here. Then I had a chamber and proposed legislation. Website. Oh, sorry to buy them at the chamber. So
Very
if
cool.
you have a gift that you want to give, you don't know what to expect.
Great.
Let's see, they had the civics tea. Carter was part of that. It was awesome. They had 5 kids that are going to the state. Topics of like sports fairness. And homework. A great diverse kids in there. West, Midwest. That and then I scooted over to the shopping center and walked for about an hour.
Yeah. Thanks, Counselor. Counselor Larson.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's see, I don't have much. I attended today, this afternoon, a Regional Water Joint Powers Board meeting along with Councilor Pollock and Councilor Sweeney. It was a good meeting. I would say, you know, among other things, the main topic of conversation in that meeting was the installation and to get up to speed with the EPA disinfection. And Tom, feel free to jump in and correct me with any of this if I get it wrong, because it was a lot of information. So, and I'm just going to go through the high points. So to get the water treatment disinfection up with the EPA disinfection standards, involves the installation of UV disinfection equipment. Kind of, you know, goes through a whole process, get it out of the river. For anybody that has not heard this before, get it out of the river, goes through the ozone, a couple different filters, and then out into the general public. This involves putting a step of UV disinfection in between there. So talked about that. That was, you know, like I said, probably, you know, 45, 50 minutes of that conversation. The construction looks to start on that process in April of 26 and end April of 28. So a 2-year project or so. And, you know, I won't go through all the different steps in that. Like I said, there's a lot of information, but that was the big picture, is basically just getting a UV system added into our water disinfection, which is, you know, a good thing. So let's see, maybe discuss the fiscal year 2026 capital improvement projects. I had a various list of projects we kind of went over, and then selected the investment advisory committee, selected 4 people for that from the board as well. So yeah, it was a good, long, informative meeting, and I guess that's all I have. So thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Larson. Appreciate it. Counselor Haskins. You're ready now?
I mean, we did skip Mike.
Skip Mike and Amber.
That's fine. This whole report written up, but that's fine.
No, not you. Counselor Bond, do you have anything?
Not now.
Oh, okay. Counselor Pollock.
Thank you, Mayor. I was at the meeting with Councilor Larson today. I had basically the same takeaways. We spent a lot of our time talking about that project. One thing I would add, the original, this project has a lot of history, and so the original, I think, concept also included us repairing, upgrading, and making more modern our ozone system as well. But it sounds like there has been some work done on the part of city staff that we may actually have 2 divergent options when it comes to that element of our water treatment. And so while UV is still a feature of the project, by nature of installation of that particular element, there are a couple, there's an additional option for disinfection in addition to ozone that we've used in the past that we now have the opportunity to explore, and some time to explore given the fact that we've been able to get our ozone working relatively better than it had been in the past. And so we've got some time and to do a little bit more diligence as to which solution is best for us, both in terms of the impact and the outcome and the cost of that. So look for more information about that process in the coming months or even years, as that project has stretched out to this point now over quite a long time. So we'll keep you updated. Kyle mentioned the Metropolitan Planning Organization's long-range transportation plan events that are coming up this week. I will give just a little more context for the nature of those events. The MPO has been working on their 30-year plan called Navigating 2055, which identifies priorities for improving transportation and health and safety outcomes to build a thriving region. This is the presentation phase of that planning process. So most of the kind of public information gathering parts of that process have already happened. They happened at the middle and end of last year. And now they'll be presenting some findings and giving an opportunity for the public to give feedback on those findings. So again, there are 2 opportunities for this: Wednesday, March 19th, 5 to 7. So that's tomorrow at Bullhorn Brewing. And then Thursday, March 20th, 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Signet Brewing. So that will be your chance to learn about potential projects. And this is Mills, Evansville, Bar None, Casper, and Natrona County. So even if you live outside of the city of Casper, there would be parts of this plan that impact your area as well. Learning about potential transit and non-motorized transportation projects, and then have the opportunity to provide some feedback. So attend those if those are of interest to you. And then other meeting that I had since I've last seen you all was the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting. So this month we were hearing annual reports, mostly from the ICE user groups and our staff there as well. So we heard, I'll just give you some high notes. These will end up in your packet, I assume, in the future, but some highlights there. Casper Amateur Hockey reported that they had 219 members this last year. Their priorities are growing their membership and, as you know, continuing to work on Second Street of Ice project, building the support for that. They have, as they were reported in a recent council meeting, continued on with securing a construction manager at risk and working on to keep moving that proposal forward. They indicated a high level of appreciation for Chad and Billy on city staff, indicating that all of that is working really well, a lot of communication, feeling really good about the relationship with the city. Figure Skating Club, Casper Figure Skating Club reported 60 members, both youth and adult. Their priorities are community outreach and membership as well. They reported feeling the strain of the limited ice time, as we have heard from other groups as well. They also shouted out Chad and Billy, so please pass that on. Chad was in that meeting, but and then the Ice Arena reported that they are prioritizing optimizing the spring and summer schedule to maximize ice utilization, and they're introducing a new summer full-day hockey camp. And then capital priorities were addressed by those groups as well, going into 2026. So I'm sure you'll be seeing some of those, probably are in the capital budget in there. And then they reported that they've retained all the rental agreements that we have been working on over the past number of years there, and added a rental agreement with Team Wyoming. So mostly talked about ICE in that meeting, and very relevant to a number of conversations that we've had at council as well. So appreciate it. That was my first meeting with that group. I'm glad to be attending and working with those folks. So that is all I have.
Thank you. Counselor Haskins. I am positive. Counselor Bond had to leave, so.
All right. So I had a handful. I was hoping he would take it, but Counselor Bond and I met with the judges for, I guess we're calling it a quarterly meeting now. It sounds like we're going to alternate between leadership, council, and then us. So their next one will be when they meet with us. They didn't have any concerns. Good news, bad news. They're staying busy, but they don't have any complaints towards us. So good for us. Debatable if you think judges staying busy is good. I had my first meeting with drug court. Really digging. Thanks for putting me on that committee. I like them already. Forgive me, I don't remember how new Roberta is, but she's new-ish, I want to say. She wanted to visit with Carter. I think we're going to hook up a visit so that you can meet with her, but then she wasn't sure if she wanted or if we wanted them to come and talk to us once in a while. So that'll be a question we'll take from with that meeting. So I want to go to that too, please, and thank you. Went to a youth ordinance task force meeting, and that includes Mills and Evansville's mayors, along with me, who's not a mayor. We should have invited you.
I think I did get invited, but I couldn't make it.
Okay, fine. Then
I had a conflicting meeting, so.
But we did discuss there. Essentially, we're looking at ordinances that should be similar between the cities. They did present one. Eric, I dropped it off at your office. I hope you got it. They're wanting to discuss options for maybe an ordinance in regards to, say, a student calls in a bomb threat and it doesn't cause an evacuation, whether or not there's something we can do about disturbances that would cause some sort of things that give the police an opportunity to charge, because if there's not an evacuation right now, it potentially there's nothing that happens, no harm, no foul, you get out of your math test. So that is something they're looking at. They're also looking at, I think they're looking at stealing or loitering ordinance, because apparently ours is good, so go us. And some other ones regarding truancy. It's still shiny and new, but that one that I dropped off to you, I think they were hoping we would look into sooner rather than later. Met with the opioid committee. We're going to start interviewing for that position. It sounds like we're going to try for early next couple weeks, so we'll see if we can get that up and rolling. And let's see. And I missed the Youth Mental Health Collective meeting today. They didn't go online, so I didn't get to go. Unfortunately, those are always on Tuesdays, so that's a real bummer for me.
I've been invited to it multiple times, but it conflicts with the meeting because it starts at 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, today would have been one I could have maybe, but I didn't. I just jumped online and then it wasn't online. Okay. So I have no idea what happened there, but hopefully I can get somebody to give me an update, and if it's something that pertains to us.
Yeah, I've got a couple people that give me some updates too.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So then you let me know.
You probably know more than me.
Right? Maybe
Thanks,
not,
Counselor.
Thanks.
Counselor Sweeney.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple. Amico reused. My first board meeting was last week. Went through budgets and estimates, business plans. That all looks good if it comes to fruition. LG did, with cooperation of the board, hire a new general manager, and he should be arriving, I think, the 24th of this month as the current general manager, Matt, retires. So, they've are now working. I don't know if they had worked with Forest Left in the past as far as real estate transactions, but they're with that team now. And I'm not quite sure, still feeling my way along. Also, thank you, Jenna, for going. I think you should go as a reporter for me, because that was an excellent report, and I might hand it back to you about the 6th Sense Department of Revenue questions that got asked at that meeting, and then also attended Amico or not Amoco, but the regional water today. And I'm asking probably way too many questions, but trying to figure out, as it appears to me, City of Casper kind of gets the short end of the stick, but I've been corrected many times that that's not the case, and there's, you know, agreements in place, and that's how the workings. And that got further clarified today. Chairman Batolio, you know, really does a great job. That's a great appointment. So, but I think Matt and Amber both covered that really well. And if I could, Mayor, if Jenna could maybe elaborate a little bit at the 6 cent and maybe advocate, or at the.
Oh, did you want to elaborate? Go ahead.
Just punt it around. Yeah, it sounds like at the meeting today, there were further questions from tax collectors about when the spec tax collection starts. So I know I had asked that question. You had sent me what was a little write-up in, I think, the Department of Revenue newsletter. Feels to me like Department of Revenue should really be the ones pushing the PSA on this forward, but I have some concerns that it still may be unclear to our Casper revenue collectors. And so though I feel like we really shouldn't need to take the role, I wonder if there are things that we can do to reach out, whether it's just through Chamber, DCBA, DDA, some of the membership groups to help, you know, let their members know. It felt a little bit like a footnote in the Department of Revenue newsletter, and I just don't want, you know, retail folks to collect 5 cents for the first quarter and then get a bill for 6 cents and have not collected it. So if there's something that we can do to make sure that we've tried to communicate as much as I can, again, I don't, it's the Department of Revenue that does the collection, so it really feels like, you know, they should be reaching out to the people who write them checks, but I feel like there's still quite a bit of confusion from any of folks that are relatively involved. They're not, you know, people who have been hiding out under a rock about this, and so that is cause for concern for me. So.
Thank you, appreciate it. Councilor Gamroth.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Councilor Haskins, for the update on opioid settlement money committee and the work we're doing there. The only other meeting I had this past week was Downtown Development Authority last Wednesday. We discussed several different things. The need to do some more information gathering related to homelessness and related crime. We have a couple stakeholders from the DDA group at the Homelessness Coalition Task Force meetings that meet monthly. And since they're the only entity representing business interests, specifically in the downtown district, the hope is that we can provide more objective data to report to that group so that we're all sharing knowledge and more informed about what's going on there from every angle. I had reported to them, and you might recall from our proposed capital budget, that the intent is to provide some much needed maintenance in the alleys downtown, moving utilities underground, repaving to fix potholes, to prevent pooling water and mitigating other issues. The alleys down there are pretty shabby, so hopefully that'll provide some relief here in the near future. We have an upcoming meeting to bring together Old Yellowstone District Committee members and Downtown Casper Business Association members to, again, share knowledge, ensure all those groups are collaborating and working towards shared goals when possible. We again discussed the merits of potentially joining the National Main Street program, and I think we'll be getting a presentation from that group at some point in the near future. There's already several communities around the state that are part of that program, and it appears to be, you know, there's definitely some benefits and resources made available by joining. We also discussed the need to eventually rebrand. I am ashamed to admit I had not noticed that the Downtown Development Authority logo simply says Historic Downtown Casper. That's confusing, since somebody would not make that connection that Historic Downtown Casper is the same as Downtown Development Authority. So the need to rebrand at some point in the future, I think that's something that's going to need to be done. But other than that, that's all I got, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to welcome our new commissioners to the Civil Service Commission. Susan Burke and Kathy O'Quinn and Marty Axland, our returning member. We, the mayor and I and Councilor Bond had the privilege of interviewing the applicants. We had some fantastic applicants. It was exciting to see people willing to serve their community. So encourage more people to watch for those opportunities and to step up and serve your community. If I'd have known we were doing the Celtic Day today, I would have worn my green derby today. The last few days, I've received a couple phone calls from citizens that I had some great discussions with them, and I appreciate the calls and insights, so never hesitate to reach out if you got something you want to talk about. And that's all I get.
Thank you so much. Couple of brief things for me. Breakfast Thursday morning with the mayors and county commissioners. Looking forward to that. So the vice mayor and I will be there. Also on Friday, I stopped by the senior center to wish my dad a happy 88th, but it was also, my dad's in the front row with my aunt. So I stopped by there. You can even smile, Pops, or he's like, all right, whatever. Just keep talking, son. I swung by. That's embarrassing. Swung by. He was very happy to see me, right, Dad? Yes, he was. He was very happy. Anywho, stopped by there. It was wonderful to swing by there and see everybody and have an opportunity to chat, not only with my family, but to the service that everybody does over there. So we appreciate that. Also, next week, the vice mayor, myself, the chief of police, and Carter will be going to Washington, D.C. To work on securing some grants for our police department. With that being said, we do have a work session next week. So we will need to have a mayor pro tem to run that meeting. I'd like to offer and see if Councilor Pollock, former mayor for 5 minutes, to take on running that meeting if council's amenable to that. Okay. We look forward to heading that direction here shortly too. So excited about doing that and working on the behalf of the city of Casper. So. And finally, as far as the town hall meeting, I am always open to communicating and having collaboration. It's something that I think is the hallmark of Wyoming. I think it's the hallmark of the opportunity to have poignant conversations, difficult conversations, but not at the risk of character assassination or not listening. I am open to having the conversation, and I am open to being a part of something like that if we know that is going to be an honest conversation that is cared for, thoughtful, and seeing each human being for who they are. I've been a part of some of those, and sometimes those do not turn into very fun meetings, and they should have tough conversations. If there are assurances that we will have an open dialogue, I'd be more than happy to do that because this is an incredibly important conversation to have. That being said, we're spending months trying to go over this budget, and I think in an hour and a half type town hall meeting, not everything's going to be able to be answered. But I think dialogue is important. I think we should have those conversations, but I think it needs to be not only respectful, but thoughtful, because we have delved deeper and deeper into the type of character assassinations for people on both sides, right or left, in the middle. We've become and forgotten about our humanity. So if they want to have that conversation, Mr. Schriftman, I'm here for that. But if we can look at it from a sense of dignity and respect for each individual, I'll be a part of that. And if it's fair, I will be a part of it. So please reach out to me if that's something that you would want to be able to do. I feel very passionate about the budget as well as Councilor Pollock. Then I'd be more than willing to be able to be a part of it. So thank you. Next meeting next week is for a work session on the 25th at 4:30 and a regular council meeting to be held at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, April 1st. Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn the regular council meeting. Moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilor Haskins. Any abstentions? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote. Oh, hold on 1 second. Councilor Sweeney. All right.
With
Please
all
report.
counselors voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a great night.